Yes, how do you do? This is my podcast and it's just for you. It's called Ted Talks and it's a load of shite, but I hope you enjoy it because I've kept it light. It's 30 minutes long and all about Teesside, the people, the places and the Boro pride.
The mighty Middlesbrough, and we're on a 4-game unbeaten run. It's all down to the tactical brilliance of Woodgate, and if we don't make the playoffs, I'm gonna show my bum in the window. But not the one in Stockton, cause it's closing down. Oh, I'm proper made up, I really am. That's my new song there. I've not finished writing it yet, as you can tell, but it's got a good start to it. But listen, the mighty Boro, I can't believe it. Last 8 games, all right, we've lost 2 and drawn 1 earlier on, but we won 5. We've won the last 4. Things are looking good for the Boro. Oh, Happy New Year, Maris. Happy New Year. Happy 2020 and welcome to the first episode of 2020 of TED Talks, the Ted Hanky Podcast, which is actually episode 27. Just if you like, you're keeping things in order and that, you know what I mean. Yeah, I hope you all had a good Christmas. I had a belt to me, like, took Big Fat Julie down to Tomahawk Steakhouse and, all you could eat, man. It was mint, proper mint. But, you know, then we went back and she had 3 tubs of Heroes, so she's a bit greedy, you know, but left me the bounties. But never mind. It's better than nothing, innit? Got another great action-packed show in store for you, and some very interesting announcements as well. Listen out for them. But so it leaves me now to say enjoy the show, sponsored by Boro Fan TV, Showcase Comedy and JokePit.com, the comedy ticket box office. So 3 great sponsors there. If you do want to sponsor the Ted Hanky Podcast, you know what I mean, it's getting a lot of downloads, so there's a lot of people listening to it. Get in touch with me. We can work something out, you know what I mean, whether like we promoting products, services, or you just want to, like, I don't know, just get your name mentioned and that, just let us know. Drop us an email at info@tedhanky.com. Nice one. Right then, before I get into the nitty-gritty of my podcast and that, you know what I mean, I've got on the telephone my faithful manager, Bobby Delvechio. Now, Bobby, you all right?
Hello, Ted. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too. Where have you been? I've not heard from you for months.
Oh, I've been sent to Parks for my holiday.
How much percentage are you taking? Because I can't afford to go percent to Parks.
No, I got a very good deal, Ted. It was all business.
What did you get me? Did you get me any gigs in that? Like in
well, that's what I've been trying to do while I've been there. You know, I went for a swim a couple of days up there. I went biking, and I was talking to people all the time. So I'm always out there working for you for gigs, always.
And did you get me any?
Well, I've got you a new one actually. You'll like this one. It's a cruise.
Yeah.
It's Dover to Calais.
Yeah.
And all I want you to do is do some keepy-uppies.
All right, with my soccer skills and that.
Yeah, some keepy-uppies on deck, there and back, entertain the crowds, and you'll get 20 quid each way.
20 quid there, 20 quid back, yeah.
Yeah, so 40 quid,
yeah. Do you know what, Bobby? I'm a bit desperate, so I'm going to take you up on that offer if you can sort it out for us, mate. How much?
I'll book you in for that then, no problem.
What's the full fee like? How much are you getting?
Oh, my usual. I'll tell you what. as it's just gone Christmas, I know you're a bit strapped. I'll only take 15% off each fee.
Oh, right, so you've not took it off the 40 quid yet?
No, not yet, no.
Oh, fucking hell.
It's usually 20 though, Ted, as you know.
I know. Do I get like food, drink, and will there be any flange on the ship?
You're allowed a glass of water each way. You can't have any food though. They said no.
So I've got to bring a packed lunch.
Yeah.
Right. And all right, yeah, do it, book it, yeah.
I'll book you in. I had to fight for that, I'll tell you.
Well, do they not know who I am? I've got loads of class keep me up skills as well. Like, don't want me to do any jokes and that, just soccer skills.
If you want to do some jokes while you're doing your keep up, but it's imperative you do not drop the ball.
It's not fucking Guinness Book of Records, this, Bobby. Is he going to be there? Norris, McWhirter, measuring how many jokes you can do versus how many kick-ups.
Well, no, you asked for the jokes. You can do them if you want. I'm saying don't lose your concentration, though. They won't pay you. You drop that ball, they won't pay you. That's all I'm saying. No,
listen, I could eat a full chicken kebab and still keep the ball in the air. Don't you worry about my concentration, Bobby.
All right. I knew you'd be up for it. Right, good.
Right. Well, that's good to know. That's good to know. Is there anything else coming up? Because I'll be honest, mate, my diary is about as empty as a council house's fridge.
Right. Well, I've got. Let me ask you this, Ted. What's your favourite supermarket?
I don't know. It's between Lidl and the Asda's.
Right. I've got it. You're not going to go for this one then.
What is it?
No, I'll forget that gig then. It was somewhere else. You won't want that.
It wasn't Farm Foods, was it? I won't touch Farm Foods.
It was Farm Foods. All right, I'm just checking.
We need a plan, mate. We need a plan to get me some more gigs from this year. I'm even thinking about bringing back out the old disco shows. Would you be up for that?
Oh, yeah, Ted. I'm always up for that.
Will you help me do them? You know what I mean? Like, it's like a bit of a double act.
Yeah, if you want. Yeah, I'll come. I can still spin. That's what they used to call it back in the day.
What, like, are you on about dancing or records?
No, records.
Right. I'm going to say something Northern Soul we're doing, mate. We're going to be doing all the best hits.
Did you get my Christmas present I sent you?
What was it?
It was 2 kippers.
Is that what that smell is?
Yeah. Have you not opened them?
No, it was wrapped like, one of them charity bags, when they're asking for clothes. I just dumped it on the table. It's 2 kippers in there.
Yeah, get them open. They might be spoiled now, I think. Oh, dear.
Do you know what? I thought we'd lost a pair of Julie's knickers, and I was looking down the back of the couch and everything, and now I know where that smell's coming from. I'm going to have to give him a Branco because they're probably a bit out of date now, and he'll eat them Branco. He likes that type of thing.
Yeah, aye. All right. No worries.
But quickly, before I let you go, mate, like going back to the disco shows, what I'm thinking we'll do is we'll put it all out to the listeners here, right? The Ted Hanky disco experience. If anyone's having a party, a private party, a works party, just one of them sex parties or anything like that, we'll come. We'll set the disco up. We'll entertain them with a little bit of our funny stuff and stuff like that, and then we'll play the best music of the 70s, 80s, 90s, possibly the early 2000s. But I'm not going past that because I stopped collecting music at that point, so I don't have enough. None of that young'un shit.
No, none of that. No.
I think it'd be a good deal that, and we'll agree a price. And, it'd be for an entire evening. They just have to arrange the room, a bit like when you book a DJ for a party, except you get more entertainment with us, but it means we're a little bit more expensive. Well, you might make some money, mightn't we?
Absolutely, Ted. I mean, it can't all be ferry crossings, can it?
No. Well, now they know my fucking limit of what they can book me for. I might have to cut that bit out and say, no, we'll charge a lot more for that.
That's just for the ferry crossing gigs, though, that one.
Yeah, they're just a special arrangement, aren't they, because of me keep me up skills.
And also I got me a discount with Centre Pass with that. I mean, you know what I mean? I'm always out there for you. Right.
Okay then, mate. Well,
I mean, that 40 quid for the ferry, that's after my Centre Park visit, so, it all fit in with that, really.
Right.
But I was still working. Do you see what? It's very intricate, Ted. I know you don't like to talk.
I let you do the maths. I trust you wholeheartedly, yeah.
That's right. I mean, if I hadn't put the centre parks thing in there with that, the gig had probably been $2,000 for you on that ferry. But I've got to do the research, haven't I?
Yeah, that does make sense, yeah. Thanks, Bobby. You don't have to look after me, don't you?
Don't overthink it.
You look after me, don't you? Right, well, I'll let you go, mate, and I'll catch up with you when we're gonna go for a game of squash, aren't we? Tomorrow morning. Yeah. So I'll see you there, mate. You know.
All right. You keep cracking on.
Cheers, man. That was Bobby Delvechio there. Listen, if you're interested in one of these disco parties, I'm being serious, drop me an email to info@tedhanky.com and we'll have a chat about it. You know, you might have a celebration coming up and we'll come and fucking rock it for you, you know what I mean? My next guest on episode 27 is a comedian by the name of Jonny Brook. Hello, Jonathan. Are you all right, mate?
Not bad, Squire. Not bad. How's yourself?
I'm good. What I like to ask all my guests, the first question on the podcast is, what have you had for your tea tonight?
I have had basically a box full of gingerbread men.
A box full of fucking gingerbread men?
Yeah, because
you ran out of beans?
Yeah, basically. And I'm just basically a diabetic in training, so...
Oh, wow, yeah.
Trying to focus on getting the required blood sugar level to live the insulin dream.
Is gingerbread men a good stimulant of diabetes then? I don't know.
I imagine it is, because I naturally, by instinct, don't buy anything that's healthy, so I'm assuming that if I bought it, it must have some unhealthy impact on life when you just stand there eating half a box of it.
I'm glad this podcast isn't about promoting healthy living then, because we'd be
in trouble then.
Yeah, I'd have no listeners, you know what I mean? It is primarily a football/comedy podcast, but we don't really talk much about football, but we will later on. Yeah. Did you have a good Christmas and New Year anyway, Manny?
I did indeed. I managed to complete the trilogy. I did the Roses box, the Celebrations box, and the Quality Street. So as troubles go, that's a good festive achievement.
Where do you stand on Heroes?
Oh, they're a bit tricky, because I dread to think, given that we're sort of racing towards World War III, or if not that Brexit, where things are going to become very tricky to get hold of, I'm scared of what I would be willing to do to get hold of a twirl in those environments.
Wow. You would have a bunker just full of like your favourite chocolate bars. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, this is it. I mean, other more rational, balanced adults would look to accumulate proper, actual required items that would see them through apocalyptic surroundings.
Yeah, like Spam and Take a Break magazines and stuff like that.
This is it, because Take a Break really is life. Because to be fair, it's the only crossword I can actually complete, so I'd need that just for the self-esteem.
I just head straight to the back of me and look at the answers and pretend I know them, which just makes me look intelligent. Going back to Quality Street, though, right? If there was going to be a World War III, you fuck now with Quality Street, aren't you? Because if there was one about 20 years ago, you could have used the tin as an helmet, but now they're just like small little plastic tubs. Probably wouldn't even fit on my bell end.
You pretty much nailed it. Because whereas, say, 20 years back, it would have looked like that helmet on the Smiths album. Yeah. Whereas now it would look like that kind of dainty little thing that posh ladies wear at the races.
Or Katy Perry when she's at when she's at Air Hostess and she's got that little hat on. That's what it'll put your dick away. Don't be getting too excited.
Yeah, no, this is it. I think it's one of them things that she's always going to be that kind of character where, by mind wiring, you can't really suppress the giddy reaction to thoughts of Katy Perry being Katy Perry, but I will stifle that for now, and we shall move on.
I've always had a fantasy of like just going to Alton Towers with Katy Perry and just like sitting next to her on some of those mad roller coasters and just watching her pop out every now and again. You know what I mean?
As spectator sports go, I think we both agree that football is a highly entertaining one. But I don't think that football could compete with Katy Perry on a roller coaster.
No, I agree. You imagine it, even just queuing up for the ride, you'd be having a little look, wouldn't you? And then when she gets sort of pressed into the safety bars, you'd be thinking, they're getting proper pushed up there. You know what I mean? I wouldn't even. The photo you get at the end, it was just me looking down the top. You know what I'm saying? I'd be busted on your foot. I wouldn't be bothered.
Imagine that would be like a record-breaking profit year for Alton Towers that year, because I imagine it wouldn't just be yourself paying for that photo. They would clear up on that one.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I can't. There's loads of class rides at Alton Towers. Like, I don't know if there's any of the new ones that you're aware of.
No, because it's one of these things that I've not been to in years. Yeah, because the problem with the whole Yorkshire born and bred upbringing is anything that costs more than what you'd spend in Poundland, and you've got the immediate sort of how much reaction to it. Yeah. You put that mindset in a place like Alton Towers, and everything's amazing to look at, but painful to consider using. So, yeah.
Well, me and Julie, Big Fat Julie, we queued up to go on the Oblivion, and they wouldn't let her on because she was too large. So I know. So she was all right though, because like she just went down and got some chips and stuff like that and waited for me as I went on it. She wasn't bothered.
Say that you'll always find comfort in chips. So
she does.
It's a sound tactical approach, that one.
I always find chips on Julie as well, which is mad. Yeah. Sometimes in undergarments, and she doesn't know they're there.
I mean, exactly, because again, it's like, talking about this whole World War III scenario, if cash is going to have no value, then at least if you are saving chips for a rainy day, then, you know, maybe, even if she don't know she's doing it, she's saving some good collateral there for wartime.
Yeah. I've been thinking about this, right? World War III. Yeah. Have you got any any tips? Because I was reading the survival guide the other day, right? And it was telling you like, if there's a nuclear strike, don't look at the blast. Don't open your keep your mouth open, because otherwise your eardrums might burst. You got to keep your mouth open. Yeah. Don't look at the blast. Get yourself underground somewhere. Right, obviously don't open the windows and the doors and that. And this was the one that got me. You got to take your clothes off, have a wash, use shampoo, but don't use conditioner. Don't use conditioner, because apparently it pulls all the particles together. It doesn't wash them out. I'd rather fucking die than not use conditioner. You know what I mean?
This is it.
Nice hair.
And I think this is where they're just sort of maybe not addressing the priorities of the nation right. Because do you want to live and be ill, but with hair that you can't take any joy in looking at?
Yeah.
Or do you want to maybe sort of allow science to end things, but you leave this world with some sweet-looking hair?
Yeah. I mean, what do you do if you've got a 2-in-1? You know, like you could, just wash my hair with shampoo. Oh, fucking hell, it was a 2-in-1.
I mean, that'd be sort of the clumsiest way to end up going. That'd be like them old Darwin Awards where, you know, someone died because they were trying to reach a can of Coke out of the machine and the vending machine just sort of collapsed on top of them.
Yeah.
You know, at least that's got some hilarity value to it. But the idea of basically being killed by World War III because your supermarket of choice had a good offer on the 2-for-1 the week you went shopping, that would just be physically and emotionally a painful way to die.
It would. I'd be a bit upset about that.
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to happen then? Do you think that big daft orange bastard is going to do something proper nut? Because like, I shit you not, like, this is the truth. Like, I've been watching the box set Homeland. I don't know if you've watched it before. Right? It's proper class. And I got up to the episode, right, the other night. I got up to the episode where they killed the Iranian chief of military by a drone strike, and then I woke up. And fucking America had really done that. So I'm starting to think that I'm hoping that bird who he was married to might really come round and get a bangers out for me.
I mean, again, we've got to set sort of some nice ambitions, because if our days are numbered, then let's have them days being mighty entertaining, because, you know, why not? But yeah, I think it's one of them that I never watched, and then I were working in London, and the ginger lad in Homeland were buying couscous in front of us in M&S, and I thought, well, given that I've literally shared a basket with him, I may as well watch the show that's giving him the money to buy London's most expensive couscous. So, yeah, the world is a small place.
Damian Lewis, yeah.
Couscous
fan. Whoa, interesting discussion points there. I've just made a note. Katy Perry on Rollercoasters, World War III survival kit. Right, so we've got to address the situation, right? Do you prefer to be called Jonathan or Johnny?
We'll go
J-Dog? Johnny Big Goat.
We'll go Johnny, because the other one just tends to get saved for benefits assessments and medical appointments then.
Right, yeah, you must have quite a few of them, don't you? Cause,
yeah, there is a bit of a procession these days where you're always sort of having to chat to someone in a Windsor knot about proving that you are a defective sort. So...
Well, I mean, just for the listeners at home, we will describe you've got like a bit of a problem with your legs, haven't you? You don't mind saying you've got an operation soon. But when I first seen that you go under the title of the sit down stand up, I just thought you were a lazy bastard.
I mean, don't get me wrong, that is me. If I could be asked to be the poster child of laziness, I would very much be the poster child of laziness, but it just so happens that I'm as disabled as I am lazy, so sort of the two come together and sort of justify this whole sitting down to do everything thing.
When your legs fixed, then are you going to start standing up for your jokes, or your jokes that shit that they're required to still sit down?
I think basically because I know me sitting down to do this kind of it draws the pity out of particularly women of a certain age in the crowd. So to start standing up to do this and sort of turn off that pity tap, I don't know if I'm brave enough to do that or energetic enough to do that.
Are you using this to get flange? Is that what you're saying? Is this a flange tactic?
It does sometimes weirdly lead to attention that you're not expecting. And then it's just a case of, well, okay, I weren't really expecting that today, but seeing as though you kind of really quite like me, let's see how disabled I am in this scenario compared to how disabled I was when I had a mic in my hand.
Ah, right. Just making a note there. Disability tricks. Good, yeah. I might try that one on one of my next gigs, you know what I mean? I might just come out and pretend I'm blind and deaf and just see how that gig goes down. I would never know, would I?
I mean, I think, if you're sort of picking them as your sort of flavours of disability, then you're sort of limiting how much you get to know of how well it's working.
I could just go out there and do my set though, and then just continue going through it as well, even when people are laughing or people are not laughing, or people go, "Get off, Ted, you shit!" I just still carry on doing it because I can't hear them and I can't see them, and then I just go, "Thank you, everybody, good night," and I just walk into a wall. quite a good ending, that.
I mean, I can see how, even as like an idea, rather than seeing it live, I'm entertained by this.
Yeah,
like
I once ran on the stage, right, wearing one of them sort of panda outfits where it looks like you're sat on a panda, and it's your like false legs, and you're running around the room and stuff like that. And I ran out onto a gig on one of them, but I didn't see that. Someone had spilt a bottle of hooch on the floor. And I just went flat on my ass, and I got a round of applause. So I'm going to take that as a standing ovation. I did 2 jokes and walked off. It was great,
because I've tended to do that where, like you say, somebody will have spilt a drink on the stage, and one of the crutches will hit it, and it just flies out from under me at like 6,000 miles an hour. So I do one of 2 things where I either turn it into some sort of weird interpretive dance, or just literally end up flying through this puddle and having like an accidental taste of it. So
I've got an image of you being like, Michael Jackson in Moonwalker, just where he's doing that lean forward all the way over and then back up.
This is it. It's like a really, 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 really bad tribute to how science-defying his legs and feet were. Because obviously mine are too, but they're at the other end of the spectrum. So it is just that weirdness of when you're not expecting it and suddenly you're like, okay, I know I'm not supposed to be making eye contact with these people. I should still be sat a few feet above them. But the fact that I'm now kind of approaching these poor ladies in the front row at a very sort of register signing speed, this looks very questionable. But again, with the crutches, people tend to be quite forgiving and assume that I'm just damaged rather than a deviant. So
damaged, deviant, double D. I like it. Have you ever thought of like maybe changing your name to like introducing yourself on the stage as something like Jonny the Babbling Brook, something like that?
There's been times that it's genuinely crossed this paddle mind of mine that, given that is literally what I do, and it is basically linked in terms of style of talking and surname. But I tend to do a lot of gigs in places where I then end up sort of doing a 10-minute explanation of it. So I just sort of tend to think I'll save that for the places that'll appreciate it.
Yeah. You do, if I remember rightly, you do some Michael Jackson jokes, don't you?
Yeah, because there's a start of my set that is... it's lovely and friendly, but can come across as a bit sinister. So I just try and sort of use the sort of physical progression of Michael Jackson as a way of sort of just explaining to people that, things do get lighter.
We know where that's going there. Very good. You're a bit of I'd probably say you're a bit of a dark comedian, aren't you, really, with some of your jokes? But that's good. It's different. Well, not everyone's talking about periods.
It's this madness of, like, you finish the gig and you're just basically trying to leave. Now, again, I'm never doing that at speed. So anyone that wants to have a chat with us about something will have a chat with us about it. And it's the way that people then want to sort of talk to you about these things. And it's like, oh, right. Because when I wrote that, I was just bored at home and it felt like a decent thing to say. I didn't really imagine that it would sort of trigger any emotional connection. So the fact that I've got some stranger in the gents with his hand on his bits that then basically wants to take his hand off where it was to sort of point to me the questionable part of the stuff. And it's like, no, there's a lot of things that I imagined when I started doing funny that someone would see fit to do that at a urinal to talk to me about my set and how it works is not something I ever imagined. But
No, it's a weird place, isn't it, to have a conversation. This always happens to me. I don't know if this happens to any of my listeners, but whenever I'm at like a urinal or a trough, and somebody comes and stands, not necessarily right next to me, they could just be next to me or a little bit along, I get stage fright.
Yeah.
I can't piss anymore. And then I find myself pushing to do a wee, and then I end up just doing a big fart. And that's even more embarrassing.
That is, I'm glad to know that I'm not alone in that, and that for all the.
I mean, I've got a big tudge, yeah. I've got a big tudge. It's not, I'm not like I'm ashamed because I compare. I have a little look, you know what I mean? Like, and I compare, you know.
You've got to do the curiosity glance just to sort of know how well established you are.
I just think it's a shame we can't confirm prostate, because clearly we've got different ones operating here.
There's definitely that. But it's just, again, I get that weirdness of, if I go in and I've started, then it's like the mastermind questions, I will finish. And you give it a little shake just to sort of try and encourage.
It just looks like you're having a tug. Looks like you're having a sneaky tug.
And it's like, no, because if I give you another shake, then there's going to be either sort of a bouncer or policeman waiting outside this door when we get out. I've hit my shake threshold and it's not happening. And I'm going to look weird if I stand here any longer. Or I'm also going to look weird if I've been here for what feels like half an hour and nothing's come out. It's bizarre.
What is the shake threshold then? How many shakes can be classed as a wank?
I think it depends on the mode, because obviously in certain modes...
What, like if you're in a bad mood, you just got dead aggressive?
Yeah,
good.
This is some sort of like Thundercat type raw of I hate the world, and I'm just going to take it out on this.
What, you do like a big ho at the end of it?
I mean, obviously it depends. It depends, because obviously, you know, these things, they have their fits and starts, so...
I'm just making a note there of Thundercats Onanism. Good topic of discussion, that I like that, because you could have a good think about Chitara, and I reckon she'd help it out a little bit, but probably loads of our listeners thinking, what the fuck now, Thundercats, you know what I mean? They're all like they're all dead old blokes who support the borough, and there's the odd bit of flange who listen to the show, but some might know Thundercats are.
I mean, imagine a crossover of two of tonight's topics, where you've got Katy Perry rocking up next Halloween as Chitara.
Yeah, and I'm dead muscly like Panthro. And I've got my nunchucks out. Oh, that'll be class. She'll love that.
Oh, she will. She'll be a big fan of the chucks being out, bless her.
Oh, she will. Oh, mucky cow. Well, it's come to the time of the show where I sometimes like to plug a local business from the Teesside area. And this week, I'm plugging one of my mates. He's from Thornaby. He's called Matty Morgan. You might have seen him like in all the pubs and that, you know what I mean? He's a bit of a daft ass. You'll probably recognise him. But he's got his own sports therapy massage business based at Billingham Forum called Body Right Sports Therapy. That's how I imagine it's said, you know what I mean? So I'm going to tell you a little bit about it now in one of my special adverts. All right. Are you having problems with your back? Are you having problems with your knees? Well, you need to get yourself down and see Matty. He'll sort you right out. Maybe you've got a problem because you keep having to be putting the bins out and that, and it's proper knacking, or your five-a-side's just killing you. Matty will sort you out. Body Right Sports Therapy. What type of things do they do? Injury assessments, sports and remedial massage. He won't touch your ass though. Trigger point therapy, no guns involved. Joint mobilisations, that's now to do with rolling spliffs. Back and neck issues. Personal training and rehab, that doesn't mean like the prison rehab. Ultrasound, that's what it is. It's ultrasound. It's an ultrasound therapy, you know what I mean? And water-based exercise therapy. Don't worry, you won't be lifting up your own piss and that, don't worry. So, contact Body Right Sports Therapy.
Body Right Sports Therapy.
I know that was just a little bit of like fun and that, you know what I mean? But it is a serious business, ladies and gentlemen. So I added a bit of parody in there. But if you do, you're having some problems with your body structure, then do get in touch with them. Like I said, they're based in Billog in Billingham. You can email them at sportsinjuryteesside@gmail.com. Got a website, www.body-right.co.uk, or just find the Facebook page, just search for Body Right Sports Therapy, you know what I mean? I think you'll enjoy it, and, I'm sure he'll sort you out. He's a good lad. Good stuff. Good. Like I said earlier on, Johnny, this is primarily a football podcast. Mm-hmm. Are you a football fan?
I am indeed.
Who just support?
Man United, unfortunately.
Oh, you're one of them, are you? You're at the minute. What? So in 3 years' time it'll be Liverpool? Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's one of these things that I started in the late 80s, and basically everyone at school were a Liverpool fan.
Yeah.
So it was purely a spite-driven thing to support United because that's who they all hated. And then it was just a nice coincidence that we started winning stuff after that, and then obviously reality's caught up with us in the last few years, and I now sit politely watching the old enemy become incredible and amazing.
Yeah, they are good, aren't they? I tell you what, though, Middlesbrough are having a resurgence at the moment. We gave Mourinho a kick in the bollocks the other day.
And I think if there's anyone that, bollocks are going to have a kick applied to, it is him, because if ever there's been a man who could start a war in a phone box, it is him, because...
Yeah. Just imagine it, like, go and kick him in the nuts, and then, in the press conference, very, very good kick in the bollocks. Very good. Yes, very good.
Yeah. But no, it's a shame they didn't actually hold on, because seeing him go out in the third round would have been amazing. But given how well Boro did over Christmas with all the back-to-back wins, that draw just seemed a nice little round off to it.
Go to their new stadium and give him a thrashing in the back garden.
Oh, that would be amazing. Just to see his pouty little face as Fletcher makes it 3-0 with 20 minutes left will be...
beautiful. Yeah. Well, that's football covered. We can talk about other shite now. I don't think people actually listen to the podcast for football reasons.
Because when you consider both the quantity and quality of topics that we've covered so well during this, football is sort of the... If this is like the overall Sunday dinner process, then football is pretty much the peas and carrots compared to the sort of...
The nice, healthy Katy Perry mash.
Yeah. Oh, what mash.
Yeah. Oh. Anyway, we're thinking too much about that. Right, so tell us about your journey into comedy then. How did you end up doing comedy and that? Did you you down the pub and did someone go, Johnny, tell us a joke? And then you told them, Johnny, when you class you, mate, you should be doing some comedy and that. That's how normally everyone else does it. All the Doyles.
Pretty much exactly that. But mine used to literally be sort of that 2 a.m. kebab shop thing of just talking absolute rubbish at anyone in there. And they're like, oh, you're dead funny, you ought to do stand-up. And I'm like, you've seen me walk. I can barely do actual standing up, let alone... And they were like, well, soft lad, just sit down and do it then. Oh, fair enough. And that was it. It was just literally a case of... you sit there and just sort of stare at this blank paper and think, right, what do I actually talk about then? And I thought, well, given that they're all going to be looking at the legs, let's talk about them. And people just seem to proper like it. So I just kept talking about them and then realising just from the look on people's faces that it seems to be that I have quite a a dark mind when it comes to explaining how these legs work the way they do.
Have you ever thought about possibly getting some robotic legs?
I did have a little ponder because I saw...
like in Wallace and Gromit, them type of ones.
This is it, because the worrying thing is for me that because I can't be mature about anything, I went to see a surgeon that's done a few bits on my worst foot, and he was saying to me, I think what we need to be looking at, lad, is potentially removing everything below your knee on the left leg as a safer way for you to get around.
Oh my God, if they did that to me, they'd take half my cock off.
Well, this was my first worry, so I tried clearing up that with him. But the fact that then this poor surgeon is sat there waiting for my reaction to this, and my reaction to him was, well, at least if they go ahead with the amputation of like the shin and foot stuff, it'll give us a really strong foothold on the fetish dating websites.
Yeah.
And this poor guy is sat there trying to give me like serious information and feedback about what they might need to do to deal with the damage, and he gets this idiot whose only real concerns are how much of his dick could be lost by removing everything below the knee and what dating websites he can then get an advantage on. So yeah, I don't think on his like top 10 patient list my name is going to be on there anytime soon, because who'd want to deal with such an immature character as this? Well,
I'll go back to my initial statement there. I did tell a little lie. It'd probably be more my balls that are hanging below my knee. Now I'm getting to that age where your willy shrinks and your balls just grow, and it just looks like you're on a permanent space opera.
There pretty much is that mad science of just literally sort of your knees almost become percussion instruments with the way that they sort of chime off. And like, you remember that like thing in the 80s, that like office garnish, that metal thing where you'd like drop one ball and it'd hit the others and they just keep sort of swinging off each other. Yeah. It's like that between your knees where it's just like, I know when I was like really young, I was enthusiastic that you dropped because it meant I was a grown up, but I didn't think you'd spend the rest of forever continuing to drop lower and lower and lower. But yeah, that's
just
what you do.
A note there of balls dropping. It's a bit weird how you should reference them metal ball things there, because I only have 2 and there's normally 6 on them, and I'd be a bit worried if I had 6 knackers swinging around. But then again, I could clean up on the fetish websites.
This is it. It's just like literally any kind of, okay, well, I might not be built normally, but how can I use the defective way I am to get me some advantage out of it? But
well, why have normal legs when you don't have a normal brain? So have you ever tried turning it into an advantage and possibly going shoplifting in supermarkets and shoving loads of like meat down your legs? And no one's going to stop you, are they? Because you're walking in like that, and then you'll be walking out exactly the same. Because me and my brother-in-law Mala, we used to take me in a wheelchair, and I used to wear these big sort of elasticated jogging pants, and we used to get down the meat aisle. I'd have lamb in there, I'll have sausages, I'll have steak, and then I'll take them down the club and sell them on. It's a good business model.
I mean, if anything's going to supplement my other free money quite well, it's
selling dodgy meat.
Yeah, because I do still have my wheelchair knocking about in the house, which again, being a mature adult, I call rolling thunder.
Have you got like fire flames on the wheels and stuff?
I really want to. Because I just think, given that it would be the ultimate sign of sort of wheelchair owning maturity to like personalise it with.
I'll get some Spooky Dokies on it. Some Spooky Dokies out of Frosties.
Yeah. just so that, like you say, when I'm then going round Morrison's, it'll be like PTSD for the staff. 'Cause it's like, oh, he's here. I can hear him 3 aisles away. Because he's not even graceful with it. It's not even like he's trying to discreetly put chops down his tracky bottoms. It's like he spends 20 minutes trying to get a pair up there, and no sooner has he done it than you just hear it like fall and get run over. But yeah, I suppose it's just good to have different ways of killing time, because there's only so much Netflix you can do, really. So yeah.
I'm just going to make a note there. Put in meat products, down pants. Yeah, good one, that one. I like that. So we're almost at the end of our discussion and that. So indeed. Have you got any? You won't have any gigs coming up, will you? Because you've got a little operation coming up.
I have indeed. I've got. I'm doing the stand in Newcastle Wednesday this week.
Oh, good. Have you done it before?
No, maiden voyage this one. So
it's a lovely gig, lovely room.
It looks it from what I've seen of everyone else that's talked about how magical it is. So I thought, if I am going to sign off from doing this for a while, then it feels like there's no better place to sit on a stool and blag.
I think you'll enjoy it, I do. I think you'll have a good time. Now, before I let you go, have you got any good sneaky little benefits tricks that you can teach us or share with us, you know what I mean? Because I'm always looking for ways I can, snaffle off the government and that. Because I reckon you'd be loaded, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm surprised, like, people aren't just mugging you to get some money back off you.
But this is it, because, obviously, that's like pretty much a tax rebate, isn't it? Because if you are just taking money off someone whose income is benefits, then...
Yeah, I've paid for that. I'm having it back. It's a good way to look at it. Yeah,
well,
I'd probably took the shoes as well.
I tend to do that. Like, if ever I do something like get around in, I will always call it like a tax rebate, just to try and make it sound like you're getting something back off someone who just basically soaks up government money because it's quite a fun hobby.
It's a good way to look at it. Yeah, I've never thought about that.
Yeah.
Next time I see somebody in a pub who's got a disability, I'm going to say, "Oh, you buy me a fucking pint, you mate."
Yeah. This is it, because I'm sure my fellow Blue Badge owners will be absolutely delighted that I'm talking of
revealing the secrets.
Yeah, where I sometimes think, do you know what? Given how much free money I've had in exchange for not having to do anything, maybe every now and again for the people I like, I will put some of this money back in their pocket, because it's very rare that the tax office voluntarily does that. So by me doing it as a little bonus, it is a nice little rebate.
Yeah, can you get me one of them badges? Because I ain't paying for parking. Just saying, can you photocopy it, or does it not work?
I don't know if you can, but what I would say is, given that I got one just because I could, mine is literally, it's been sat in a fruit bowl for about a year now.
Where'd you park your fruit bowl, like?
Yeah, that is a bit of a weird thing, isn't it? 'Cause it's not like, for as enthusiastic as traffic wardens are, I can't see...
We've got an unattended fruit bowl here. I'm going to give it a ticket. Well, I've got to say thank you very much for being a guest on Ted Talks, Ted Hanky Podcast.
Pleasure.
I wish you the very best of luck getting your robot legs, and let's put some methods down for this Thundercats Wankathon, and see if we can get it out there and get a campaign going. I reckon there'll be people up for that.
I'm not quite sure how we turn it into a money-making process, but
we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
There's some sort of branding crossover that I'm sure that basically, particularly if we can get Katy on board in sort of the Chitara role, then and what we'll do is we'll see if Harvey Weinstein wants to play Mumra, and
I think, that he can be a proper villain then, and people will get on board with the Thundercat Wankers Band. Oh!
Boom. And that's how dreams are lived.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Jonny. And I'll speak to you soon.
Indeed, mate.
That was Jonny Brook there, the sit-down stand-up comedian. Have a look at his Facebook page. I've tagged it on the links. He's a nice man. Cheers, Maris. Okay, so it's come to my favourite part of the show where all my social media followers on the Facebook and the Twitter and Instagram and stuff like that can ask me a question, ask me anything, and I don't read it until this very moment, and I answer it just off the cuff, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's proper shite. But we'll wait and see. We've been away for 2 weeks now with the Christmas break, so I'm hoping we've got some good questions. So I'm going to put some shifty music over the background and let's have a look. Question number 1. It's from Wilf Smith. Ted, why are T-Rexes always so angry? I think it's because, it's a good question that, mate. I think it's because they've only got little arms, haven't they? So they can't have a tug. You know what I mean? They've got all that pent-up anger because, like, they're just stomping around like that, you know, and they're desperate to just crack one off, but they can't get the little arms down there, can they? And you can't go and ask a Stegosaurus to sort it out because they don't get on. So, that's the main reason. Yeah, good question, that. Next question, Schmeichel Wheatley. I love this lad's name. Oh, I really do. Interesting question. Can I get thrush from bathing my nana? Only if you're in the bath with her, Schmeichel. Sometimes the bodily fluids leak out from the elderly into the water and make their way directly through the eye of your willy. And that's where you will then pick up thrush. And various other diseases as well, like Black Death. Greg Husband, world's greatest folk singer. Ted, I'm currently single. I don't know why, I'm currently single and I'm looking for love in 2020. What tips do you have for picking up some top-notch fanny? For starters, mate, don't be calling them that. You know, it's a bit offensive. I use a nicer word, like flange or a bit of trim. I'm only kidding, lady listeners. We're not really all sexist blokes on this show. I think what you need to do, Greg, is you need to get back to the good old-fashioned way of going out and just talking to girls, and just going up to them and say, hello, my dear. Now you talk a bit like this, don't you? Hey, do you fancy a drink and that? And they'll go, yeah, what you offering, Greg? I'll get you some Buckfast, won't I? I'll go back to man and have a couple of cans. And go, all right then. And you take it back to yours and you get your best cans of Skol out or something like that. Do you want a Chinese? Oh, have you got Chinese? Yeah, I've had some in the fridge 2 weeks now. I was going to eat it, but I haven't. Yeah, all right then, let's have that Chinese. And you'd have your Chinese there, and then you go, right then, we're going to get it done or what? Because you're in my house and you've had me cans and you've had me Chinese and we're going to have a buck. And then at that point she'd probably go, well, I've made all this effort, why not? And then there you go, mate. You're getting some serious monkey business there, mate. So give it a try. Let us know how you get on with it there, Greg, mate. Cheers. Next question, Tony Seaman. What would you do if Boro got in the playoffs and you couldn't get a ticket? What I would do is I'd probably just take yours off you, Tony. You know what I mean? I'd just go, give me that ticket now, or I'm going to bray you. And you'll go, all right, Ted, yeah, you're bigger than me. And I am. And I'll just take it off you, and then I'll go to the game. And then I'll meet up with you afterwards, and I'll tell you about it. And I'll probably buy you like half a lager or something. Go, sorry, mate, I got you the programme. But yeah, I'd probably do that. Nigel Campbell. Ted, remember when I asked you what shade of shite are the butter? Must have upset them there, mate, because we're not any shade of shite now, are we? Proper class and that. It's not really a question. It's a reference to a previous question and a really bold statement. I like it, Nigel. Up the Boro. Liam Woods. I know it's a bit late, Ted. Good New Year and all that. Heard you got bummed with a fixed penalty notice. Is that true? Not true, Liam. It was a park and charge notice, which of course you don't have to pay. And if you look on Martin and Lewis, Money Expert, there is a letter template that you can send it to them that basically says, stick it up your ass, I'm not paying it. And that's what it was, Liam. Lee Peckett. Ted, is it okay for my mate and his auntie's sister to have a baby nephew? I think that's a combination of a nephew and son. Do you know what? It depends where they're from. I mean, if it's like Berwick Hills or Winniebanks, it's probably just standard practice there. You know what I mean? Or in some of the cheaper parts of Ingleby, Barwick, that's allowed as well. But apart from that, I don't think it's right unless like she's proper fit. Then I suppose it's all right. You know what I mean? Bryce Sad Wilson, Happy New Year, Nana Specs. Call me Nana Specs one more time, Brian, and I am going to put you in a fucking $1 million dream next time I see you, mate. Honestly, I am. Here's one for you. If you sat in mixed company, what would you prefer? A silent fart what smells like a stink bomb and nobody knows who done it, or a really loud cloudbuster fart what doesn't smell and everyone chuckles? Well, with me being a sort of comedian, it's debatable. I'd probably go for the latter because I'll do anything to get a laugh, you know what I mean? And it's quite nice to just do a noise and not have a smell, isn't it? Big Back Jolie, she does a load of silent but deadlies, and I know when it's happened because it's Branko first and he just throws up his chappy, what he's at, big pile of chappy food, he throws that up and then it's me and I'm like, fucking hell, Jolie, and for some reason then I get really aroused and I try and give her one. So that'd be my option there. So Simon Rylander, got any New Year's resolutions, Ted? I have actually, I have, and there's a couple of serious ones here. I've wrote them down on me little phone app, one of them is I'm going to produce a Euro 2020 podcast just over that period there, because I want to get my message out to more than just North East listeners and random people from around the UK. I want to get a proper England one going and we can take the piss out of all of the European teams and stuff like that. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to do a little competition later on to help me name the podcast as well. So I'm glad you raised that one. I want to produce a live stage show as well. So I'm working on doing a live stage show in the Boro, a bit like the headline spot I did for Laughing Pug, but with more guests and a bit more structured and more fun and more involvement with the audience, and hopefully a full house as well, so we can have some fun. And then I'm going to get myself in shape a little bit as well, because I sort of had to run for the bus the other day, and my body was that knackered. I just shit myself. I did, and it wasn't like just, when you do a little wet fart. It was like a full, I'd probably say 5.5, 6 inch long log in my underpants. It was dry though. It didn't leave any stainage or something. So I just picked it out and, put it in that little bin where you put your bus tickets on the bus. No one noticed. So I was lucky, but thanks to a high fibre diet, there was no stink. And but it worried me that my body, my bum stuck its tongue out at me, more or less there. I was a bit upset. So good question there, Simon. Thank you very much, mate. You shitty Tottenham fan. Duncan Phillips, last question. We good man, Duncan Phillips, one of probably only 3 or 4 fans who actually buy me a coffee on coffee.com. That's kofi-.com. You know what I mean? He obviously appreciates the podcast, and it's only £3. I should charge more because Duncan's probably still paid, but we'll see. Let's have a look at your question here, Duncan. Ted, you say you book super fast. I do, yeah, I do. Don't you think you should slow down now a bit in case you start a bushfire of your own with all the friction you make? It's a reference to the tragedy in Australia at the moment, and probably me and Jolie having a bit of a retro bush. I'm a big fan of the bush, I really am. I endorse it. I asked Jolie or whoever I'm dating to grow it out and be loud and proud about the bush. I want it to look like Christian Cannonball in a leg lock, basically. That's what I'm aiming for. But you're right, I do scuttle super fast. I'm a fast booker. There is a risk. I think it'd be more of a risk if we were both shaved with stubble, and you would get like that, starting a fire effect, and we might get sparks. I think that's where the phrase sparks in the bedroom comes from, just from people with shaved pubic areas. And, we've got some very delicate black silk linen, bed linen, and it might cause a fire, and we'd all be buggered. So, yeah. So anyway, thank you very much for your questions. What a great session that was. I loved it, me, like. So that brings us to the end of episode 27 of Ted Talks, the Ted Hanky Podcast, brought to you by Boro Fan TV, who provide excellent Middlesbrough Football Club fan content online on YouTube, Facebook and all them places. Showcase Comedy, who put on fantastic comedy nights at the Georgian Theatre in Stockton and various venues in sort of Leeds and Bradford and that. And my new sponsors, jokepit.com, who are the comedy ticket box office, where you can buy tickets for all the comedy shows throughout the UK, including most of the showcase comedy ones as well. So I recommend you have a look at that. Thanks again for all your contributions. Thanks for listening. Thanks for sharing the show. If you've not done this already, this is a plea from me, a New Year plea. Please go to iTunes and Stitcher podcast providers and leave me a 5-star rating and a nice little comment. Honestly, it helps me so much. It gets me up the podcast charts as well, gets me noticed, and I might make some money from it one day. You never know. But we've been in there a couple of times before, quite high up. We got to number 7 at one point, but we'll keep dropping down because it all relies on these star ratings. It really does. My downloads are going up, but I'm not getting any more ratings. So if you're listening or you're new to the podcast, please go there and leave us a nice rating. Honestly, I'd be over the moon. I really would. What can I say? Thank you very much for all your support. I was serious earlier on as well. I am going to start doing some more sort of public stuff like personal appearances, disco shows, all that type of stuff. Go to my website, tedhanky.com. Have a look at my services page on there. I've got a shop on there with some merchandise as well if you're interested. And, if you got a celebration or an event coming up, you can book me and book a couple of us, me, Bobby, Malamite, Com, I don't know, he's a daft ass. Drop us an email. There's a link on there, or to info@tedhanky.com, and we'll give you the quote for your gig and that. It'd be sound. I'll keep you posted on all my comedy nights. I'll be performing that in 2020 as well. So there's a newsletter you can sign up to on the website. Loads of stuff. Give it a look. You know what I mean. So I'm just hoping now that me not having a podcast for the past couple of weeks and the Boro being on a Rich Vayner farm isn't related, and we can continue winning ways. So let's hope we can in our next game. So up the Boro and believe.